I remember Dhanush telling me this because when I said the same thing to him, he said, it's not easy. What this role is actually, it's not easy. Just because you make it look easy, it doesn't mean that it's easy. Everyone took a certain route, but I always took a more difficult one, a more bigger. You have to be yourself, and that is something that today I'm starting to see a trend of people not being themselves. Everything like micro, managing their looks, their face, everything. Initially, I had curly hair, and when I was growing up in school and college, it was heavily criticized. It's like, ugh, what is this hair, So everyone would ask, why are you not straightening it? I've always had a certain identity crisis all my life because they still call me Menon, Nithya Menen. It's not my spelling. Yeah.
It's N-E-N.
It's N-E-N. You don't always, you have to always do a Revenant to get an Oscar. What about Little Miss Sunshine? It's a brilliant film, brilliant writing, brilliant acting, right? It got Oscars. Hi, this is Nithya Menen and you're watching me on Etimes.
Hi, this is Ankita from Etimes, and today I have with me the woman of the moment, Nithya Menen, who's here after her national award win. So it's difficult for me to pronounce the name of a film, but I'm going to say it, Thiruchitrambalam.
Yes! Well done.
Since I'm not South Indian, but I love the film, congratulations, and so well deserved. So firstly, tell me first thoughts on the win. And what's the feeling like? Did you expect it?
No, I didn't expect it. And I usually rarely went to award functions and all of that. Awards was not ever in my mind that, this is a goal that I have to achieve. So yeah, I didn't expect it at all. When it comes, the national award is a very different thing. It's unlike any other award that you can get, because I think for actors it's pretty much up there as the one award that kind of validates you and tells you, everybody is recognizing the work that you've done.
Yeah. And I'm going to say that, and I mean this as a compliment, so don't take it otherwise, that, when I saw the film, I thought that you were so effortless in the portrayal of your character, that it made me feel, oh, iske liye national award mila? I mean, it's just that it came across as so effortless, but I'm sure that a lot of efforts went into it. So do you want to tell me about that, please?
Yeah, it's actually not that effortless. I remember Dhanush telling me this because when I said the same thing to him, he said, it's not easy. What this role is actually, it's not easy. Just because you make it look easy, it doesn't mean that it's easy. The way we know that is because he said, let's see someone else do it. Yeah. The way you have pulled it off, let's see if one person can do that. Because that was exactly the character that he had in mind. And it's not someone that I relate to or that I'm very different from Shobana. So what was exactly written on paper and what is exactly in the mind of a writer or a director, to translate that is, I think, acting. It's not, acting is not always something that, gross emotions are easy to portray. Like you can scream, shout, cry. You can do that. I can do that, of course. But I find much more beauty in subtle things, in emotions that are subtle. If I can convey to you just without moving my face, if I can convey to you 3 different things, that to me, even as an audience, when I see a performance, I feel, oof, that's a good performance. So that is what I try to go after. So for me, this is beautiful, because it's like saying, this is purely for you. It's not for a film. That's the thing about this national award that I feel very proud about, that it's not for the film that the award is given. It's not a film with costumes and big costume drama, or it's not a big production values, huge sets. It's not extravagant. So it is purely for the actor that it has been given. So yeah, so that's a very big statement, I think.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense. And now that you mention it, that is something also which I wanted to ask you, that if we see your filmography so far, I think it takes a lot of individual choice. It takes a lot of individual gumption and confidence to be able to choose films that you really stand by, in terms of the kind of films that you've chosen. You've not tried to fit into a box that, oh, this is perhaps working and this is perhaps I want to do. I also read somewhere in an interview where you said that you want to do films which make people happy. And but has it taken a lot of gumption to stand by things that really touch your heart, rather than just go with the what's working and what's not working?
Thank you for asking this question, even though you're not so familiar with my work, but this has been the way I've operated all my life, and you've put it so aptly and asked such an important thing. So even when I got the award, and I happened to meet some members from the jury after the event was over and everything. They came up and introduced themselves to me, and they were from everywhere. They were Assamese and Oriya and from everywhere. And what I felt is that I was being awarded for everything that I had done so far, and it was not just about one film. Of course, Thiruchitrambalam is a very, very beautiful film. It is a very it is a film that really captured people's hearts and minds. It really did. It was so sweeping, the impact of the film and the impact of the performance amongst the Tamil audience. So it is about the film, but I realized that what they were saying was that it was for everything that I had done, for all the work that I had done. So again, going back to, it was given for the artist in me. It was not specifically just about one film. It was about your artistry, is what they said. So when I got it personally, when you're talking about gumption, when I got it, that is what I felt. Internally, I felt that I always took a very different route to the same goal. Everyone took a certain route, but I always took a more difficult one, a more bigger, like
it takes strength to take the difficult route.
And I was unable to do anything else. I could only do this because this was the only way I knew how to operate. So even when I could have been probably the number one, they call the queen of whatever, all of that, I could have easily been. It was not difficult at all. It was right there. But I chose to do things that are not not very commercial, not very, that kind of. So you don't get that quick name and fame that with the route that I took. So for me, it was a personal validation when I got this, that okay, you've done something right, it's not easy to every single time stand by that that sort of. I always had a compass, and never at any point did that compass ever waver. I always went by that same compass, and I chose every single film like that. And they happen to be very varied films. They happen to be very art films, very commercial films. I've done everything, but the compass was always there. That this character, this film, this thing is real, it's genuine, I can bring something authentic to it. So it was a journey that not everybody can say like they have done it this way, but to be recognized after that is like it finally feels calming.
But do you think that's what worked for you? Because now that I analyze it, now that you say it and I look at it in retrospect, I feel that's perhaps what worked for you. Is
Yes,
it that
absolutely.
individuality or the simplicity that you bring in?
Absolutely. Not for me, for everyone. It will work. You have to be yourself. And that is something that today I'm starting to see sort of a trend of people not being themselves. Everything like micro, managing their looks, their face, everything. You don't need to be any of that. You will only have power when you're yourself. If you are not yourself, you'll get diluted. So, of course, it was not it was not a planned thing. I was just unable to do anything else. I'm a very honest person, so I was unable to do anything fake. But you see, that gets recognized. Maybe when I get recognized, I hope that it will give people the hope and the feeling that I can be myself, whatever I am, and I can be fine, I can be successful.
Yeah, it is inspiring because you, like you mentioned, you broke those stereotypes in terms of how perhaps even an actress should look. And I mean that as a very good compliment in terms of the way it is inspiring for a lot of younger women to be themselves, and the fact that you do not have to always fit into a mold and look a certain way. Have you always been that confident, or did it require sort of work, or you've had your moments of, being insecure, because we all do as women?
Insecure, of course, everybody has moments of insecurity, but it was never that, I remember initially I had curly hair, and when I was growing up in school and college, it was heavily criticized. It's like, ugh, what is this hair, So everyone would ask, why are you not straightening it? So at that time when I was in college, that sort of straightening became a big fad, like everyone used to do it. So it was like, why are you not doing it? I couldn't imagine doing something which is not me. This was my hair, I didn't know how can I be something else. So I tried to find ways to make this look good. So I figured it out on my own. How do I make the curls, because it can get bushy and big. So I figured out how to make it look like this. So, how to naturally, like I never used products, or I still don't. So
You have to give me tips on that after that.
but it's nothing. It's like the less you do, the better. So it was always, there was always a criticism, either you're too short, or you're too fat, or your hair is too big, or your hair is like your eyebrows are too big. These were all constant criticism. Thankfully, I think I was somehow made like that, where I more or less, it was like I couldn't understand. Why would you talk about this? I have something more to offer. Look at what I bring to a character. I can bring it alive. Why don't you see that? Like, it doesn't matter how tall I am, or how short, or how fat, or how thin. It doesn't matter. Look at the subtle things that I can bring to the craft that I'm getting paid for.
And you may say that the northern audience may not be very much aware of your body of work or your filmography, but even the audiences here, I think everybody knows you.
Yes.
Everybody knows you,
yes.
and there are so many fans here.
Yes.
And they
I
want to
always
know
get
more about
surprised.
you. Yeah,
I get
because
very surprised. Initially, when they told me, I was doing Breathe, and there were brilliant Marathi actors, right? Rishikesh ji and all. So he said, नित्या जी का के कैरावान कहाँ है? मुझे जाके उनसे मिलना है. तो मैंने कहा, आप मुझे कैसे जानते हो? अरे ऐसे क्या बोल रहे हो आप? I said, how do you know me? Like, do you know me? But I always get very surprised. But they watch South Indian films apparently. They
do
watch
the Hindi dubbed versions which play on TV later on,
yeah.
and like a lot of people, Hindi movie watching people, you know, like have said things like when OK Janu was remade in Hindi, they felt that okay, you know, she should not have been replaced, or like they still loved the original one so
and
much
they're
more.
still, I think they're still watching only 50% because they're not watching my voice. Like they're not hearing my voice. I always dub my own films, all of my films. So they're watching a dubbed voice. And so it's only 50%, you know, and they still love me. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So, you know, for those people, I need to know, you know, more about Nithya, the person behind. And, you know, how have you, people have this notion that you're from Kerala, but you're from Bangalore actually.
Yes,
And
I'm not from Kerala. I am a Malayali. There was recently a lot of you know, like of course people usually have no jobs, do all of these things, but there was recently a lot of things that I said, no, I am a Malayali. Of course I am. I always said that, but I'm not from Kerala. I've been in Bangalore. Our families, my entire family is in Bangalore. Everyone, my close family, my grandparents, everybody. My parents were all born in Bangalore. So Bangalore is like, yeah, it's my home. It can't change. But everyone, nobody accepts it. Even if I say, they say, no, we're just gonna think that you're from Kerala. So
they want to own you, that's why.
No, but even others, like they say, "आप Kerala से हो?" नहीं, मैं Kerala से नहीं हूँ. So yeah, I've always had a certain identity crisis all my life because they still call me Menon, Nithya Menon. It's not my spelling.
Menon.
Yeah.
It's N-E-N.
It's N-E-N. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still call me Menon. Every time I say it, it feels like a spelling mistake. So yeah, I've always said it all my life, but yeah.
But how have you managed to keep your simplicity intact, Nithya, despite, you know, so much love, so much fan following and stardom? Because I think perhaps that's what is reflecting in your work through your eyes. I mean,
I think, acting is nothing but an extension of who you are as a person. People always say, you know, oh, you should teach. I can never teach acting because it's not a thing I'm doing. It's something I'm just being. So this is like, it's an extension of my soul. You know, it's not artificial. So I always feel like actors should take a lot of breaks. Actors should always focus on growing personally, you know, spiritually. They should always grow. Because
so what do you do spiritually, personally, to when you take a break to grow?
No, I mean, I just take lots of breaks. I take very like, again, this is something that people will find very hard to even digest, but I take breaks almost like 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years. Yeah, I take big breaks because it's very essential for me. I'm like a nature thing, you know, and being put in a completely opposite environment, it just drains me. It makes me like a dry leaf. So I have to again take that much break to recuperate and come back and become alive again so that I can contribute to a film. For me, it's always been about what can I give rather than what can I take. So they always ask me if I've planned out. No, I've never planned anything and thought, what can I do? What can I do that makes me famous or that makes me very big? You know, it's never been about taking from the cinema. It's about giving. It's about contributing to cinema. What can I do in this very short period of time that I'm alive? What can I do? What can I give that can make some good impact, right, on people? That's the only reason why you should do films, to be able to impact people in some good way. That's also why, like you said, you know, I like to do happy films. That's another thing about awards, that I'm so happy that I have broken that stereotypes, because there's always this thing, even with Oscars and everything, right? You don't always, like, you have to always do a Revenant to get an Oscar. What about Little Miss Sunshine? It's a brilliant film, you know, brilliant writing, brilliant acting, right? It got Oscars, of course, but what I'm saying is films like that also should be recognized as good cinema. You know, a friend of mine who's a painter recently said to me, why can't art be happy?
Absolutely.
Because then I realized that even for them, in their profession as well, they're having the same thing. So she said, you know, it has to be dark, it has to be moody, you know, it has to say something. Why can't art be happy?
And that's the kind of movies which we are making today. I miss the simplicity.
Yes.
Like even Hindi films, you see, I don't know if you've seen those old films of like Angur, of Gulzar Sahab, Chupke Chupke, Choti Si Baat. They had that sort of simplicity which your recent film had.
Exactly. That's why Thiruchitrambalam was as big as it was, because it was so simple, but people missed that. They missed that kind of being able to watch something that made you think, made you smile, made you feel, rather than just things that are very dark and very heavy. I feel like, you know, more responsible towards what am I putting out there. So even if, for example, horror is the in thing now and I get like 20 scripts a month of horror, I don't do it, because it's a matter of principle. It's again taking that route, that do I want to put this content out there for people to consume? No, I don't want to put it out there. So it doesn't matter how, you know, saleable it is, I will not do it. I don't want that. So I try to put things out there as much as possible that can make people feel the happy and good side of life. So that, you know, that feeling, let them carry it with them.
And lastly, please tell me, when do we see you in a Hindi film next? Because after Mission Mangal and Breathe, both the seasons, people really want to see you. But is that the same reason why you're not doing much of Hindi work, in terms of the kind of offers that you're getting are not?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, there's a lot of stereotypical, like, you know, if I do something like Breathe, then, you know, it's very similar, the kind of offers you get. They kind of group you into one category, and it's not like that. And I think also from Hindi, they need to see us as well as substantial actors. We do mainstream films and mainstream work, but sometimes the offers that come can be a little bit like, it's not like what we would normally do. So just because it's a Hindi film, I'm not going to do something like that. I'll still have the same standards of like what I choose. So, but I am, we haven't yet confirmed it, but I am going to do something in Hindi soon, and it's again in the OTT space, which I really enjoy, because OTT gives me that opportunity to do all these beautiful characters that are so, that make the artist in me feel satisfied. Ah, this is nice. Breathe was like that. I enjoyed, you know, the actor in me was very satisfied by the end of Breathe. Ah, I've done enough, I'm happy, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Looking forward to seeing much more of you, and it was so lovely talking to you.
It was so lovely talking to you. Thank you for being the first interview and like talking about like important things.
I wanted
and
to
real
just
things.
have like, just go with the flow, kind of a deep conversation with you to just get to know you better. And while we spoke about OTT, I want to wrap up on the note saying that I also loved you in Modern Love, Hyderabad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So looking forward to more of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.